the first thing that you're going to want to do is to place your thread spool here so that it can easily feed up, and then it's going to go back to front through here. It's going to come straight down, and you're going to go back to front through the top, as well as back to front through the bottom. Some people say that this part doesn't make a ton of difference, however, it does help with tension. The next step is going to be to feed the thread back to front through this hole here, and then you're going to take the thread and you're going to wedge it in between these two tension discs right here. It's important to note that these two tension discs is a most common mistake for people to get wrong, because a lot of people will just place the thread over the top and it will fall out as it just did. You want to make sure to really wedge it down in between those two tension discs to make sure that the tension is proper. The next step is going to be to go front to back through the hole here. This is where the change happens. Everything else up to this point has been back to front, but at this point you're going to go front to back, and then it's going to go straight down, and you're going to have the two tension discs again. Make sure it's between the two big ones. Another common mistake is to accidentally get it wedged into the wrong spot. Make sure that it's right in between those two big tension discs. You're going to come around, up. It's going to hook on this little tiny baby hook, come down, under the big hook, and then up through this hook here for a 3-hook system. The next step is going to be to place the thread from right to left through this hole. This is another commonly mistaken part of threading the machine, because if you're facing the machine, this bar kind of hides that hole. You want to make sure that you always go right to left through there and don't forget that hook. Then you're going to come straight down through this last hooking system here. Wedge the thread behind this tensioning plate. You're just going to push it right behind there. And then down through this hook. And again, I'm going to show that one more time. You're going to come back around, and it's going to end up in this little tiny hook there. This is another part that I see people mistake a lot. They'll go into this little hook, but it will slide right out as it gets going. Push it all the way back and into the crevice of the hook. The last two steps are going to be threading the needle. You're going to go front to back through this hole right above the needle. Make sure it doesn't hook around your needle. And then the very last step is going to be threading the needle itself. You're always going to thread on an industrial machine towards the machine. So we're going to put our presser foot down, which you just saw. There is a hooking system on the back that you just press that lever down and it will release the presser foot. And then over on the side of the machine, you have a hand crank, and you'll want to make sure that your needle is all the way up at the tallest point. Lastly, you're going to thread the needle carefully. There is a tiny hole at the very bottom, and you're going to pull the thread through once it starts to come through. If you're having issues with this, we do have thread guides that can help get the needle threaded, and they look like this. These are pretty simple to use. You can take the thread out, push this through the needle hole, put your thread into the middle groove or opening. You're going to hold on to that thread and then just pull it all the way through. And that is a really easy way to get your needle threaded if you're struggling. The very last step is going to be taking that thread and pulling it back and wedging it in between the two presser feet here. And then again, I pick my presser foot up, use my hand crank, crank my needle all the way down and back up until I see my bobbin thread come up from the bottom. And that's how you thread the machine.